This edition of Mac Voices is brought to you by Opsgenie by Atlassian. With Opsgenie, your next incident doesn't stand a chance. And by Smile, the makers of world-class software like PDFpen for Mac, PDFpenPro for Mac, PDFpen for iPhone and iPad, PDFpen Scan Plus for iPhone and iPad, TextExpander for Mac, and TextExpander for iPhone and iPad. Learn more about all their great products at smilesoftware.com. Welcome to Mac Voices. This is the talk of the Apple community, and I'm Chuck Joyner. Folks, this is the first of our holiday gift guide shows. We love getting together with friends and over the holidays, and I love getting together with friends to do a couple little holiday picks, maybe help you figure out things that you can buy for your loved ones or maybe buy for yourself. The rules are pretty simple here. First of all, the panel cannot pick anything the previous panels have picked for this year. So since this is the first panel, we don't have that problem. They can't steal somebody else's picks, or they can, as long as they get it in first. And that means then the subsequent person has to come up with something new. And in general, we just have some fun. So let's go around the horn here, find out who's here, and then we'll get to the good stuff. First up, for her first time here as the new host of the Mac Observer's Daily Observations, Miss Kelly Guimont. Kelly, it's great to see you, and congratulations.
Thanks so much. I'm really excited to be here. I have some good stuff on deck to show off for people for Christmas. And I'm excited about the show. It's a lot of fun to do daily observations. It's been interesting, and behind the scenes, there's been like a different catastrophe every day so far. So.
Of course, that's podcasting.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
So I hope it doesn't show. I guess I shouldn't talk about that because I don't want it to sound like there's just a catastrophe every day. But so far it's been really great, and it's always a lot of fun to get a couple of TMO people together and talk about a couple of headlines for each day.
Well, that's great. So if you don't get enough Kelly here, you can hear her every day on Daily Observations.
Yep.
Next to her, Mr. Peter Cohen is back. Peter, welcome. It's great to see you.
Hello, I'm the Paul Lind of this round of our fun picks. So I'm here for comic relief only.
And if you don't know who Paul Lind is, kids, ask your parents.
Seriously.
No, go Google him instead. You'll have a way more interesting story that way.
That is true.
Oh, boy. Well, it's great to have you, Peter. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Thank you very much for having me, Chuck.
Now, our third panelist, I'm a little nervous to introduce because he has a little bit of a jaded history with the holiday gift guide shows. He's the only panelist who has ever recommended a virus as a holiday gift, which still bothers me a bit. Mr. Mark Fuccio. Mark, it's great to see you.
Hi, Chuck, and I have something special just for you.
Oh,
Oh no.
Is it communicable?
Nope.
That's what I was afraid of, Mark.
There's a follow-up. Hopefully a follow-up.
Oh.
Chuck's on his own for social diseases this year, kids.
Okay. Okay, we may cut that part out. I don't know. Anyway, let's get to this. We're going to have some fun, and of course, I get to participate too, so that's even more fun. So, Kelly, guess what? You get the very first pick because I'm just going to keep the same order going around.
Okay. I think the first thing I'm going to pick is I'm going to start small. And now I'm like, which one do I start with? So I'm going to start with this, which is it's a charger from Anker, and it's a wireless charger. But instead of being the mat, like the little round puck that you set your phone on or whatever, this one actually sits flat like this, and then when you set your phone on it, it's more upright. So I like this. This is the one that I just pulled off my nightstand to show off on the show. It sits on my nightstand, and the nice thing about it is that I use my phone as my alarm clock. So in the morning when the alarm is on, if I need to hit snooze or stop, but who am I kidding? It's snooze. It's already upright, and I don't have to fiddle with it. And then at night or in the morning, when I go to pick it up, I don't have to worry about unplugging it, plugging the cable in the wrong way or anything like that. It's very nice. And the other great thing about it is that it takes a micro USB cable to the wall, and then the Qi charging works both vertically and horizontally, and it works both with I have an iPhone 8, and it works great with my 8, and it works great with the 10, and I've tried it with a couple of Plus models, and it works with those as well. It's super great. You can find them on Amazon, and occasionally they will run a little bit of a discount on them, but like regular price, they're about $25 or $30. It's a really nice way to level up charging. And like once you get something that has wireless charging capabilities and you start using the wireless charging capabilities, it's just so much nicer. So it's a really nice way to level something up and make it like a gift that you can give somebody that they will use all the time.
I love these, Kelly. I love it, and it's a great pick. But the one thing you didn't completely mention is that the flat ones, I mean, you can't see your iPhone. And I have one of these by my bed, same thing, and it's propped up at the right angle, and I use it as my alarm clock at night. So the lay down pads are great, but why would you do that? That means if I want to use face recognition, I've got to get up and stare down at my iPad. That's crazy.
Right, and then additionally, like the other thing. The other time it's really nice is on your desk. So if you sit at your desk and want to just set your phone there, then if you get phone only notifications, like not text obviously or anything, but if you want to have your phone upright so you can keep an eye on those notifications, you can still have it sit there and charge all day, and you can pick it up and put it down as much as you want, and you don't have to worry about the cable or the charging or anything, and it's super great. And so like I thought it would be a novelty. Like when I first got it, like, ooh, my phone has wireless charging. I should get a wireless charging majigger so that I can try it out and see if it's neat. And it's just so much better. So my mom won't see this before I see her, but she's getting one. So I know she's not going to see this before that, but I love it so much. My mom finally upgraded her phone, and and she's getting one of these as a treat for her phone for Christmas.
Cool. Very nice. Very nice. Great first pick. Peter, what do you have for us first round?
I am going to suggest that folks who have people on their list that have older iPhones, like iPhone 6s, 7s, and actually in some cases 8s, get them the iPhone battery replacement program from Apple before the $30 fee for it expires. You know, a lot of us are limping along with older tech or gear that we've had for maybe a year or two, stuff that we're still paying off to our carriers that's still working well enough for us that we don't actually want to jump on a new iPhone this upgrade cycle, but still want to try to get maybe a few more months or another year or two out of the gear that we already have. Well, remember that any iPhone 6 or later is eligible for a battery replacement from Apple for $30. And that, combined with making sure that your device is updated to iOS 12, can really rejuvenate, especially older machines like iPhone 6s. So this is something that's available through any Apple store, any Apple authorized service provider that does iPhone battery replacements. They'll usually do it for you on the spot. It might take them a couple of hours to do it, and you need to set up an appointment through Apple's website to make it happen. But when you do, it's only going to cost you $30. Compared to the full freight on replacing a battery for these things, which is $80 right off the bat for the part, plus whatever the authorized service provider is going to charge you for the labor involved in that, you can easily top off around $150 and $120 to replace the battery in an older iPhone if you're paying full freight. But now, between now and the end of December 31st, Apple is offering a special subsidized quality program to replace the batteries in those older devices. And especially if you're getting a service battery message in the battery setting on your phone, this is definitely something worth doing. So get it for yourself, get it for other members of your family, and help kick your upgrade path forward a few more months or maybe another year or two.
So, Peter, I have 2 questions.
Go for it.
So when you do this, what do you get? Do you get a certificate that gives you a barcode or a serial number or something to establish?
No, Apple's service program is all managed directly through their database. It's called GSX on the back end, just a bit of inside baseball. That tracks the serial number of your phone. Any phone that falls into the quality service program, which is a 6, 6S, 7, et cetera and so forth, straight through the 8s, is eligible for the program. Even if the service battery message hasn't popped up on your screen, even if it's working within normal parameters, Apple will actually cover the battery replacement for $30.
So if you give this as a gift to somebody, they're eligible, they're in their database, so that person takes it into Apple or...
I'm just saying you pay for it. I'm not saying that you have to get fancy with it. I'm not saying you buy a certificate. I'm saying fork over the $30 so they can get a new battery for their phone.
Sure. Is there a maximum expiration? Do you have to buy it by year's end? And
you have to have it done by December 31st.
Done by
the quality program ends on December 31st. That is the hard finish for this program.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Even if you're not experiencing problems, if you have a phone that old, it's not a bad idea just to get that battery in to give it extra life. I know I have an iPhone 6S, and I took advantage of the program, even though my battery was not giving me trouble. It didn't have quite the life it used to, but this just gives it more life. And so, why not for $30? I mean, come on.
Yeah, if you crack open your iPhone, the oldest, crappiest piece of technology in there by far is the battery, right? That is the most antiquated piece of technology in there. Apple's done a lot under the hood to try to improve not only battery optimization, but also battery performance in iPhones over the last few years. But the fact of the matter is that iPhone batteries, just like everywhere, wear out. The difference is, replacing the battery in an iPhone requires an almost complete disassembly of the machine. That's because of Apple's constant need to make things thinner and more elegant and easier to hold in your hand. And I mean, the net result is that you get a very nice device to use, but it's also a very complicated process to remove. So this is something that should only be done at an Apple store or by an Apple authorized service provider, not the dude in the mall who, does this for $30 just on his own. I'm talking about like a real authorized service provider or Apple. That's the way to do it. That's how the quality program works.
Yeah, agreed. Great pick, Peter. Great practical pick that, isn't necessarily focused on the brand new stuff. Good job. Mark, I have fastened my seatbelt. I'm ready.
Oh, it's not this round, a subsequent round. But for this round, I'd recommend probably my favorite Apple device over the past couple of years, and that's the Apple HomePod. I had one, then got a second one, and I really enjoy it. He's
up to 6 now, people. He has a problem.
Uh-oh. It's great when you're making coffee in the morning. You can catch up on the news by, cycling through, news from the Washington Post, CNN, and Fox News. You can tell it, hey, Siri, play news from, and then give it the name of your local, NPR station, and we'll start up their live feed. It's really great. One thing I think I've noticed this week is I think Siri is getting smarter. I think it's starting to maybe in some cases have contextual understanding. I got invited to go to a Stanford football game this weekend, so I asked Siri, hey Siri, what time does Stanford play this week?
Oh, and then you did it.
And I did. And so now people could be coming back, and depending on when they hear this, it'll come back. Do you mean football, or do you mean basketball? And I noticed that the light stayed on and went out. So I re-asked the question about football, and I got the thing. And then I asked again. I said, "Hey Siri, when does?" And the light stayed on. I said, "Do you mean football or basketball?" And I said, "Football." And then it responded. So in the past, it never seemed to have any sort of session information like that. So, I think one of the side benefits is that Siri is getting better, and it's a great device. Chuck, you had a Mac jury months ago about comparing that device with others, and it's really changed the way you can tap in and listen and enjoy music. No longer going to have to go to the big room, the special room that has the big special speakers. These are small, shelf-sized devices. They project a great stereo imaging stage, and you can put it almost anywhere. And since it's Wi-Fi, you just have one cord that you need to plug in. So there may be a little bit on the expensive side, but they provide really great sound and audio. And give them to a friend, or maybe give them to a parent who wants to be able just to tap into the news, or ask, "Hey Siri, what's the temperature outside?" and get responses to simple queries like that.
Mark, I love my HomePod. The one thing that you kind of left out is the quality of the microphones, not the speaker itself, but the microphones. I can be a room away and I can basically whisper. If there's no other noises, it hears me and responds. It's truly amazing. And on the other end of the spectrum, I can have the volume cranked up to 10 and playing something and still speak to it, and it hears me and stops. It's truly amazing what it can do in that regard, and it sounds great. So I'm with you. I think it's a great pick. How many HomePods here in the group?
I have 2.
You have 2? Okay. Kelly, Peter? No? Okay. All right. So, folks, if you're buying for Kelly and Peter, a HomePod, that's what they need. So my first pick, boy, I always struggle with the very first pick, but I think this year I want to pick the Wyze security cameras. These are inexpensive little cameras. They're not terribly stylish as far as the design. They're basically just a little box. They come in 2 models, one which is a static camera that you just point wherever you want it. The other one, though, you can remote control through the Wyze app, and it will cover about, I think, 270 degrees of range so that you can maneuver it how you want it. It comes with motion alerts. It comes with a microphone and a speaker. So if I'm somewhere remote and somebody walks in my house, I can pop the speaker on and say hello to them, which I have done, and it really freaks them out too. Because they're so small and unobtrusive, unlike some of the larger security cameras that are out there, that people just don't notice them. But the thing is, these are like $25, $30. And don't be fooled by that price. The picture is great. It gives you limited online storage of the video for a little while. You can buy more of that if you want. I haven't seen the need for that so far, because it's a nice way for me to be away from home and be very confident that if anything happens in my house, I'm going to get an alert. I'm going to get an alert on my iPhone. And I also should mention there are infrared sensors in there too. So in the middle of the night, if it's completely dark, if somebody walks across in front of one of these cameras, I get an alert.
Where do you get them?
Mark?
Where do you buy them?
I'll have a link in the show notes. I think I'm not sure if they're on Amazon or not, but I know Wyze, WYZE camera, and I'm telling you, it's sure. You look at the others; there's a couple $100, and they're great, and they have some advanced features and all. But if you just want to get into security cameras and play with this is one of the ways to go. Opsgenie by Atlassian is sponsoring today's MacVoices. Getting alerts immediately is critical when an incident occurs. But that's not enough. Getting them to the right people, the people who can really make a difference, is what matters. That's why you need Opsgenie from Atlassian. Opsgenie lets you and your team respond to incidents the right way, the efficient way. Engineers get the engineering notices. Operations get the operations notices, not the other way around. Your team members on the East Coast get East Coast notifications, while your team in London get London notifications. So problems get resolved quickly by the team members who can handle them. I just logged on to a financial services site the other day, or tried to. It didn't load for an unusually long period of time, and then I got a database error message. Needless to say, I wasn't impressed. The site remained in that state for a good 30 minutes. Now that doesn't sound like much, but those were 30 minutes that I was an unhappy customer. And they were 30 minutes I spent thinking about moving to the competition. I'm sure that site wasn't using Opsgenie. If they had been, the right team members would have known, and as the downtime stretched beyond a few minutes, the issues would have been escalated so more resources could be dedicated to the problem. That's what Opsgenie lets you do for your customers. You don't know when your next incident will occur. Be ready when it does by visiting Opsgenie.com right now, Sign up for a free account and add up to 5 team members free. See what Opsgenie can do for you. That's Opsgenie from Atlassian at opsgenie.com. Never miss a critical alert again with Opsgenie. Thanks to Opsgenie and Atlassian for sponsoring this week's Mac Voices. So that's round one, and I think, Mark, you get the award for the most expensive gift so far.
Oh, I have an even more expensive gift if we have, depending on how many rounds we get to.
Okay.
I also have some inexpensive and free gifts. So.
Okay, good. So round two. Kelly?
All right. So for this one, I'm going to choose something very small. Again, this is, I carry this every day. It's always in the little pocket of my jeans that, you're supposed to put a key in or chapstick or whatever. But mine has a Leatherman style PS. That's what this specific one is. And the reason for that is it's much lighter. I used to have a Leatherman Micra that I carried everywhere. It was kind of heavy and it had a blade on it. And because I never thought about it being there because it was just always there, I went through a few of them because the TSA doesn't like the Leatherman Micra because it has a blade. And this one doesn't really have a blade. The closest it comes is a pair of scissors. And the other thing that's super great about this one in particular is that, as you just saw, I can access the tools from the outside. So there's like a nail file / screwdriver on this one. And then the other side is the pair of scissors. And I don't have to open it up to get to the stuff because they all used to be on the inside and you had to open up the whole thing in order to do it. And then this one opens up into a pair of pliers. And I use this constantly. I can tighten a screw on that little thing over there that's like wiggling and making a weird noise. If I snag something on my fingernail and it gets like a sharp edge, I can file that off till I can get home and like clear it up or whatever. It's got a little carabiner clip on it, so I can clip it to my belt loop, or usually what I end up doing is just sort of sticking my pinky through it and holding on to it while I do whatever I need to do and then come back and do whatever it was. I also use the file end for box tape because it's a pointy enough, hard enough piece of material that I can slice through whatever, even the Amazon tape with the strings in it. The nail file end will cut through that as well. And it's just super handy and really light, and it's always in your pocket and you don't have to think about it because it's not super heavy. It's not super big. And again, I think this was $25 or $30. And Leatherman, they're a local company to me, super local, like it's a brisk walk from my house to their headquarters here in Portland because they're from here. But it's a super good tool. They're super duper reliable. And they make a variety of things. They're sort of like a Swiss Army knife. You can figure out like how big do you want the thing to be. And they have all kinds of them for that. They have one that has a USB drive on it, I think. And then again, this one has no blade. So I've traveled with this one many times back and forth and never had a problem getting it through security because they don't think that little tiny pair of scissors is a threat. So this has been a super useful gift, a super useful thing that I have. And I've bought a couple for other people who also told me that they really enjoy them and they're really glad they got them.
Very nice, very nice. I especially like the idea of being able to take something that useful through security, because I used to always carry a pocket knife. I mean, like a small pocket knife, but a pocket knife. And I stopped because I ended up losing a couple because you get to the airport, forget, and you abandon them. So, yeah, good pick. Very nice. Peter, round two.
Round two for me. Well, many of us have fur babies at home, furry friends that are an important part of our life that we don't want to leave behind. So my second pick is a really nifty gadget that I've seen a lot written and recorded about this year called the Furbo dog camera. Now, the Furbo dog camera is a device that has a 160-degree HD camera with night vision built into it, a mic and a speaker, and a treat tosser. So this is a gadget that you set up someplace for your furry friend at home where you can remotely log on, get their attention, have a nice little conversation with your furry friend, and then toss them a treat for their attention. How awesome is that?
I didn't know
That's
such
cool.
a thing existed.
Absolutely. Works with Android and iOS. There's an app available for it. Works just great. Powered by micro USB. It also works with Alexa as well. So if you've got a device that's Amazon Alexa compatible, you can just yell at it to give a treat to your dog, and it'll spit out a treat at you. Otherwise, you can log on from work, let's say, on your iPhone, say hi to your pet, and toss them a treat. Make it very interesting for them to hang out while you're not there.
Very nice. Very nice. So trying to be all inclusive. Will this work for cat treats, whatever that means, too?
Yeah, if your cat's not terrified by having a strange object throw things at them randomly, sure. Being a cat owner of many decades, I can't imagine that this wouldn't traumatize the hell out of every animal I've ever had. But your mileage may vary, Chuck.
Okay. Well, I don't have cat or dog, but I felt like I needed to ask the question.
No, absolutely. I mean, like in theory, it would work, but obviously there are a lot of behavioral differences between cats and dogs. And the Furbo, I should point out, Furbo's products, the Dog Nanny and the Dog Camera, are definitely designed with dogs in mind as opposed to cats. Although I'd be very interested to see how my poor cat would respond to Furbo dog camera. It could be very interesting and entertaining. Part of it also is because the little trebuchet, the little treat tosser launcher that they've got built in there, is really built for dog treats. They're built for treats of a kind of a specific size the round shaped treats that have a diameter of 1 centimeter. So something really more intended for dogs than cats.
Okay. Hey, I don't even know what a cat treat is. I'm just making it up as I go. Well,
if you sit around long enough and stop breathing, you're the cat treat. That's what I've learned.
Good. That's a picture I didn't need. Thank you.
That escalated quickly.
Yes. Mark, do I need my seatbelt for round 2, or are you still holding out?
No, I'll keep you going. Probably next round.
Okay. All right.
So in this round, I mean, we're invited in sort of the summons to the show was have tech gifts. So I have 2 books, but they're not hard tech in the sense of people thinking about electronics. They're more, say, sort of psychological tech. They're 2 books written by a professor named Robert Cialdini, 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 and he's a psychologist. And years ago, he wrote a book called Influence, which I'm sure everybody has probably heard about one way or the other. And it sort of had 6 principles for developing a relationship where you could sort of influence, them to take certain actions. And one of the things he looks at in there is just sort of the role, of authority, and tells a story of, some holiday gift shop, and they had some merchandise that wasn't selling, and the owner asked somebody to adjust the price by mark them down by 20%. Then the owner had to go away on a vacation or something over a 2-day weekend, and came back, and everything was sold out, and asked her assistant what happened, and the assistant said, "Oh, I marked them up 20% like you said," and everything got sold. And the point is that when it comes to evaluating merchandise, and especially if it's anything artistic, but it applies to all sorts of other things, food, wine, art. If people don't intrinsically understand and know how to weigh and value whatever the intrinsic quality of the item is, they look to price as a signal, and sort of at the whatever the price was at a point where just didn't reflect positively on people's self-image. But with the new more expensive marked up price, certainly did, and they sold whatever the 8 or 10 units that they previously just had sitting on shelves for a couple of weeks. So he explores all sorts of ways to do this. This year he came out with a new book called Persuasion, which is sort of a permutation on the word persuasion. And some of the key ideas here is there comes certain points in time where, if you want to start to influence people, you need to, you get the moment where you can, get people you trust and get them to view you or your relationship differently. And he tells a story of, he went undercover, sort of going into different car dealerships and fundraisers or other companies, just try to learn how they teach people sales techniques to try to as he says, it's sort of the influence people to get people to comply. And he tells a story of a security company that they go out and they start an appointment and they come in, and always about 10 minutes in, he said, "Oh, I forgot something. Do you mind if I go back to my car? I need to get something before I can continue with our demonstration." And they would say yes, and they would come out. And he says that he was as a new cub following around, kept asking him, and finally this this was the company's sales pros said, "Well, the reason I want them to do is I want them to trust me. And who would you trust to go out of your house or apartment or condo? Who would you trust to go out and then come back in, give them the key so that they could let them in? We'd only do that with somebody you trust." He said, so right away, once he started his sales pitch, he had developed a trusted relationship with them, and that's why he had consistently better sales than all the other people at the company. But he talks about other techniques along this line. He says one thing that's probably very interesting, right, is we've all had the experience. We go out to a restaurant, and some restaurants at the end they come back and they have a piece of chocolate or a little piece of candy, and the study is that I hope I get these numbers right. If they give you one piece of candy, they get a 3% bigger tip than if they didn't. If they have two pieces of candy, they get a 15% larger tip than they would otherwise have. And he says that the reason this works is since we're social animals, we believe in reciprocity. And there the waiter has or waitress has given you something personal. It's not just sitting there at the bowl as you enter or leave the restaurant. Mm-hmm. They went out of their way to give something personal. So our social consistency is such that we'll reciprocate and give them bigger than otherwise tip. So that's a book. It's called Persuasion. Both of these are available as manuscripts on Amazon, and it's fascinating. And if maybe someone out there is not sure if they want to buy this, there's a recent interview with Cialdini, on Barry Ritholtz's podcast called Masters in Business, which is on through Bloomberg. So there, after listening to that, it's about an hour long. I guarantee you're going to want to get this book either for yourself or as a gift for somebody else, or all of the above.
A very cerebral pick, and I like it. That's. I'm always intrigued by the way we all can manipulate each other through all the subtle cues, as opposed to some of the gross cues we see on the evening news all the time.
We're in this whole era of fake news and things, right? So it's just sort of natural. Just what are people doing? It's they're just to not only just to get attention, but to set the seeds so that you slowly you can influence people's action.
Very nice, very nice. Unexpected as always, Mark. So I'm going to finish off the second round with something a little bit unusual. This is partially for Kelly and I trying to relive something we had fun with this year. I'm going to recommend a MacStock digital ticket. What they did was they videotaped all the sessions at MacStock, and you can get them with a digital ticket so that you can go online, look at all of the presentations made by all of the presenters, and both the short version of the presentation and the in-depth part that we did. Kelly presented, I believe, TextExpander. Mm-hmm. I talked about trying to find ways to get more value out of your tech dollar. Gene McDonald talked about blogging. Brett Terpster talked about tagging, and that's where I'm going to stop. Bob Dr. McLevitis did a keynote. It's just a great bunch of productivity-oriented videos, and it'll give you an idea for how much fun we had at Macstock and the kind of content there was. And hopefully you'll join us again at Macstock 2019 coming up this year. But
spoiler alert, my talk got rowdy because I threw candy at people.
You were cheating. You were trying to get people to come to the session, Kelly.
Oh, I freely admit that. I was not above shameless bribery, and I said I will give you candy if you come to my talk and ask a question or have a contribution to make. And some people were not sitting in the front row, and so I threw candy at people. So and it's all on tape.
You delivered. So, but yeah, it's seriously, it's a very inexpensive way to get some great training and get a sense of how much fun we had. So the Macstock digital ticket, and again, of course, there'll be a link in the show notes as well. All right, guys, that's halfway through. If we do 4 rounds, and it looks like we're doing good on time. So, Kelly, take us into round 3.
All right, it's over here. My next pick is brand new, and you have to give me a minute to huff it because it's new leather. It smells so good. This is going to be kind of hard to show off, but this is the new Sutter Tech sling bag from Waterfield Designs. They're at sfbags.com. And first of all, this bag comes in 2 sizes. This is the standard size, and then there's a full size, which is slightly larger. So this one is meant to hold an iPad, and then the slightly larger one is for a 13-inch computer. So here's the back of it, and I'll try. This is going to get a little bit weird for the video show, but you can see that the top buckle is kind of on a pivot, and the reason for that is because on the bottom you can buckle it to either side of the bag. So if you want to wear it across one shoulder or the other shoulder, you can adjust it to whichever side you tend to favor. And you can wear it just over one shoulder, like this, or you can wear it cross-body, which I'm not going to do because I have headphones on and that will end poorly for somebody. And then the rest of the bag is wax canvas, and then the front is that great Waterfield leather. And then the front pocket unzips. All the zippers are waterproof, which is another awesome thing about this bag. So it does unzip all the way through, and that's so that you can access it from either side depending which way you wear your bag. You can always get into that front pocket no matter which side you're using. And then the main area has the great Waterfield fabric that's like the lighter color so you can see everything inside. And then the key fob. And there's a front pocket here. This might get weird. There's a little front pocket here, and then a little spot for a couple of pens or pencils, or Apple pencils. And then the back pocket is lightly padded, and I have my iPad in here now. This is an iPad Pro, so you can see how it fits. And then you can put, whatever else in the main pocket. It is not the lightest bag, I will tell you, because it's leather and canvas. So it's not what you want for, super duper long distance or something if you're really worried about the extra weight of the bag. But so far it looks like it's going to be super durable. I know a couple of people who have sprung for a flavor of the Waterfield backpacks for their laptops and other things. And the longer you use them, the leather wears really nice, and, it gets kind of beat up and starts looking really cool. And like this bag in particular has like the shoulder strap for it so that it doesn't slide off your shoulder. And they just announced this right after the new MacBook event and right after the new iPad event, where we got the new iPads. And so this will fit the new iPad, the smaller size iPad. And then if you have the 13-inch iPad, you would need to get the slightly bigger bag. This is $169, and then this is the brown. And there's also a black, which instead of being waxed canvas is ballistic nylon, and then black leather, and that's $179 for the larger bag is $179. Both sizes come in both colors, and so far it seems like it's super cool. I haven't put a bunch of miles on it yet. I've only had it for a couple of days. I just looked on their site to make sure I had the prices right, and it says that the soonest you can get one now is December 14th. So that might be cutting it a little close, but if at least on the standard size, which is this size, but it's super compact. Like it's, at this point, I don't have anything in it, aside from my iPad, but it doesn't stick out really far. It's not a giant bag. So if you're looking for something a little lean and mean for, conferences, and, you just want to travel around with your iPad to the coffee shop or whatever, or you want to take your laptop with you, but you don't need to take a whole bunch of stuff to go along with it, then this is a really good way, because that front pocket will hold enough adapters to get you by, and a power brick, and you can fit some papers or whatever in with it too. And, so far, it's been a super duper bag. And like I said, I've only had it for a couple of days. It doesn't have a ton of miles on it yet. But I can totally see it being my go-to if I'm just looking to, all I need to take with me is my iPad and not my full computer. And if that's all I'm looking for, this will take my iPad, my keyboard, a charger, and some other little whatever else I want to take with me, decent pair of headphones and some stuff. And it will all fit in there beautifully. And it looks really great.
Kelly, you just solved the problem for this year. It seems like there's some companies whose products end up on the gift guide every single year for as long as I can remember, and Waterfield is one of those. Everybody that has a Waterfield bag raves about them.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And you can always find somebody who got one years ago who's still using it like that, and that's like the best endorsement I can give them. Them and Tom Bin are the two that I know that people, if they have one, like they just cling to it. And, that's the one that they use, and they've had it forever and they adore it. And that's what I have found with this one in particular is like, as soon as I got it, and I'm really fussy, and, for fun, whenever one of you runs into Mr. Kelly next, just ask him about my bag situation, because it's a situation. It's always a situation. I always get one and it's wrong. And this one is not. And I'm really excited about it because it does have room for my iPad. I just carry around the previous iteration of the Apple wireless keyboard, not the Magic keyboard with the ramp, but the one with the little tube, the little barrel on the back for the batteries. I carry that around as my, like Peter's there. I carry that around as my wireless keyboard solution. Because I don't have to buy a new one to go with every new iPad whenever I get a new iPad. So I've been using the same keyboard for probably as long as I've had an iPad. I can drop my keyboard in there. I can drop a charger in there. I can drop a pair of headphones in there. And, and if I want to, I can put my wallet and my keys in the front pocket. I don't have to take my purse with me, and I'm ready to go for wherever it is I'm headed. And I did that yesterday, as a matter of fact, just to see how it would work. It was awesome. The bag is great. Everything is well enough protected. I don't have to worry about it. And it just seems like a really, it's going to be really solid, and I'm really excited about it. And I'm actually excited to get rid of a couple that I've been unhappy with. So there are bags that are leaving as a result of getting this one, so that I can, because this is the one that's going to work, and unless something insane happens and I suddenly become a person who needs a 13-inch iPad, I'm just going to carry this bag around with my iPad in it forever. So it's really nice.
So to clarify, that's the 10.5 or 11-inch iPad Pro that you've got in there, as opposed to the full 13?
Yes, that's the 10.5, the current as of 2 weeks ago iPad.
The Touch ID iPad, yeah.
No, not that one. It's the home button, the last home button iPad. Oh. So I don't have the new iPad. I got mine last Christmas. So yeah. So but it's they did tell me that it will hold both. So like it holds mine, but the new one will fit in there. And the pocket is lightly padded. So, if you're looking to drop kick this down a flight of stairs, your iPad's going to be in some rough shape anyway. But for just carrying around and general out and aboutness, it's solid, and I really like it. And it is a little heavier than some bags that I've used to carry my iPad around in, but it's been my favorite. It's my favorite so far because it is a little heavier, but I know what I'm getting for that. I'm getting waterproof zippers and wax canvas and actual leather, and it all looks great, and it's really solidly built. And if you find anybody that's had a Waterfield bag for a long time, you'll tell like the wear on them, they just start looking cooler. And like Peter has one that I know he likes. And which one is it that you have?
I have the Stod. I got the Stod a few years ago, like a long time ago, actually, and I still get compliments on it. It's held up amazingly well. Really, really well crafted. Swear by Waterfield.
Always such good stuff. And they always are like Johnny on the spot with the new thing that fits the dimensions of whatever the new hardware is that Apple announced. So that's pretty great. And I can't wait to put more miles on it. So I'm like making up reasons I have to take my iPad with me places so that I can get to carry this bag around with me. So it's really awesome. And I'm going to have a review of it over at Mac Observer once I've spent a little more time with it.
If I remember the background on Waterfield, the company got started by a person who was a bike messenger who was really tired of dealing with crappy bags and decided to make one himself. And that's sort of how the whole thing got started. So these are very thoughtfully crafted bags that are meant to be used.
Yeah, I did pick I think it was like 2 years ago, I did pick they had a small sort of clutch style purse that had a long shoulder strap on it that had an iPhone pocket in the back. And I picked that at the time because it was super great. And that's still super great when it's just my phone and a little bit of stuff. I need a little baby purse. I take that one with me and it holds up great. And I get compliments on that one too. It's really nice.
So endorsed by Kelly, endorsed by Peter. Those are two pretty good recommendations. That's good.
And last I checked, David Sparks carried one of those backpacks, one of their backpacks. Gene McDonald carries one of their backpacks. And I know at least one other person who I'm absolutely blanking on right now who has their backpack and was like, it was kind of a lot of money, but I spent it. And as soon as I got it, I knew it was exactly the right amount of money. And I'm really happy with my bag. So
great. There you go with social proof, which is one of the ways that people get influenced. So they must be really pleased for your name dropping a list of luminaries that use their product.
Hey guys, all the cool kids are doing it. Why not you?
Peter, what do you have for round 3?
So, I hear from people all the time. Why don't they do Find My iPhone from my cat? Why don't they do Find My iPhone from my wallet? Why don't they do Find My iPhone from my keychain? They do, guys. It's a thing called Tile. Tile, actually, this is a good year. If you've never heard of Tile before or not familiar with Tile, Tile recently refreshed the product line with the new Mate, which is better than ever. So here's the thing. There are these little Bluetooth transmitters. They sell 3 different ones. There's the Slim, the Mate, and the Pro. They're all powered using internal batteries. The batteries on the Mate and the Pro are actually serviceable. They're batteries that you can replace. They last for about a year. The battery in the Slim is not removable, but they'll sell you them at a discount when you come back for more. And the Slim can fit in a wallet, stick it in a passport, stick it in another flat object. And it is a Bluetooth beacon, so you can actually find your devices no matter where they are. You can locate them. You can even ping them to give you a little alarm when you're in the proximity. There's an iOS app that you can download from the App Store. There's also an Android app if you're one of those people. It is an amazing thing. Really, really helpful to idiots like me who lose track of things all the time. Tile is great. They've been around for a number of years. They've continuously improved the product and the software. So it's definitely worth something keeping in mind. If there's somebody on your list who's constantly misplacing things, but might always have their iPhone nearby and can throw up the app and try to figure out where they left whatever they left.
If you have an Echo unit, can't you ask the A lady as well, like to make it play a song on your thing?
I believe that is correct.
I think. And then I know someone who has one of those on their keys and it like plays a little song. There's a way in the app that you can like make it play a little song and then you can
will sing you the song of its people.
Yeah, those are they're really small too. So like when Peter's saying like tuck it in your wallet, like it's like the size of like an Apple Watch screen, but really thin. Like they're not a very big they're not a very big square device to have to like tuck into your wallet. Like it's a whole thing. It's not a whole thing. It would be like a little thing on your keys or whatever. They're not massive.
Yeah, it's a fob. It's like a key fob sort of little tiny squarish thing, considerably smaller than a poker chip. Mm-hmm. Now, the Slim is a little bit bigger, but the Slim is very, very flat, and it's really designed for like, you've got a billfold and you want to slip a Slim in there to make sure that you never lose your wallet, that sort of thing.
Right. I know somebody who teaches a lot of courses, and he'll pass around visual aids or other things, and he uses them just to make sure he can give you everything back when he's done with the session.
Nice.
Good call.
Nice. As well as figure out where he left his coat.
There you go.
I will add 2 tile stories to this. The first one is that I have a tile in my backpack, and I have a tile tucked away deep in all of my luggage, including my checked luggage, so that when I get to the airport and I'm waiting for my checked luggage, I can check the app and see if it's in proximity. And,
that's clever.
Well, and it relieves that tenseness that, gee, did my luggage make it or not?
So when you see all those people sort of nervously milling about the carousel, waiting for it to start, and Chuck's just sitting.
None of those people are Chuck. Yeah.
Yeah, Chuck's back there with his legs crossed, sipping a latte, taking his time. He's like, you know what, guys? It's a quarter mile away. You don't have to worry about nothing.
Exactly. And the second
villain like a villain.
Yes.
Yeah. And the second thing is that I have given these as gifts to people in my life who shall remain nameless. And I swear to you, I think I've gotten back a good 10 days per year of not having to wait for them to try to find their key. Right there, that's good enough. It'll give you time because they can just hit the little app, and to your point, Kelly, it'll sing them their little song, and that's where my keys are. Good, let's go. So yeah, good pick, Peter. Really good pick.
Thank you.
We got my in-laws some last year, and I was sad that they only last a year, but now I'm glad to know that I was really excited to see that the new ones have replaceable batteries. So I was very excited about
anywhere.
Yeah, and you can get them directly from the website if nowhere else. But you can. They're available at a lot of electronics retailers.
I got mine for my in-laws in person at Best Buy last year. And I think I've seen them at Target. They're really commonly available.
Amazon.
Oh yeah.
Amazon, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Mark. I'm buckled in. I'm waiting.
Okay, well, here it comes, and this is a book. This is a Kindle book, and Chuck, every time I see him, he ribs me about sort of my interest in biological sciences. So here it comes. This time, this is a book, that sort of was designed, for somebody in high school or college age, but it really can be read and enjoyed by anybody, any other age, and it is called Dr. Warhol's Periodic Table of Microbes. And it's written by this guy named John Warhol, who is 2 things. One, he is a university, microbiologist, and he also is a distant cousin of Andy Warhol. And what it is he decided just to educate. He wrote a book. He sort of arranged all the microbes in a periodic table, and there is science behind why he organized them. He just didn't start them and start from A and go down to Z. And the book is designed, it basically has a picture, and it has a 1-page essay that describes what it is about that microbe, what it does. Is it useful? Is it pathogenic? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And he arranges them in very interesting categories, because if you want to get a high school student or a teenager or an aging Mac fan interested in something, you have to have a hook to get people in. So some of the things are what are some of the smelliest microbes? What are some of the most poisonous microbes? Which ones live in the hottest or the coldest temperatures? which ones are used best for food production, and it goes on and on and on. So it's really interesting, and it costs you the princely sum of $9.99 for a Kindle version. So highly recommend it. It's something. Next time if you're out, if you enjoy playing trivia or bar bets, this would be a good source of inspiration for getting stuff to really stump some of your fellow friends. The other thing I recommend is a PDF that it's of a hardcover book, but its biggest distribution is through PDF. And it's called Parasitic Diseases, 6th edition. It's available as a free download at a website called Parasites Without Borders. And the people behind this are a combination of university professors as well as MDs. And this is sort of a classic reference, obviously, if it's in its 6th edition. And I downloaded it several years ago, and it's very interesting. If you're traveling someplace and you're worried, you check all the CDC guidance about what is likely. This book, describes sort of the life cycle of the parasite. Does it get transported directly from human to human, or does it go through an intermediate host like a pig or a chicken or a fish? Describes what the symptoms are as well as treatments. So, it's a combination of one thing that has a lot of deep science, but it also is accessible to a casual reader. It's not really steeped in short jargon and long run-on sentences that are difficult to parse. So again, it's very interesting. So again, if you're trying to get somebody interested, or maybe they're interested in science and not quite sure what they want to do, here's 2 books. One for free, one for $10. That could go a long way to helping satiate somebody's or help develop somebody's intellectual curiosity.
Mark, I think you've topped some of your previous picks with the 6th edition. That's the part that got me. The 6th edition of A Guide to Parasites. Well,
medical schools need course material, right? So that's where it goes. It's predominantly medical schools, but hey, it's available for free. Check the site out.
Yeah,
career, Chuck.
Yeah, well, no, we're not going to go there. All right, good, interesting pick. I mean, very, very different. No question.
Just a thing for the germaphobe on your list this year.
Yeah.
Last time I was on with Mark, because I was looking earlier today, and the last time I was on with Mark, he picked little throw pillows that were the shapes of microbes.
Yes, that's the thing Chuck never lets me. Another time I picked, there's that iOS game Contagion where you basically can design a virus or a parasite to and the goal is to extinguish the world. So there's a theme and variation here. Biology is fascinating.
I feel obligated to tell the audience that pre-show we were talking about an extinction level event that had nothing to do actually with viruses, but so there's a definite theme to this. Happy holidays, everyone. Wow.
MacVoices Gift Guide Episode 1. That escalated quickly.
We wish you a deadly Christmas. We wish you a deadly Christmas.
The judges would also have accepted It's Christmas at Ground Zero.
There we go.
By Weird Al Yankovic.
Party at Ground Zero.
All right, I'm going to wrap up round 3 with, to be honest with you, with some low-hanging fruit. This is an easy one, I think. And actually, I'm sporting them right now. And that is a pair of Apple AirPods, excuse me. I bought these. I was perfectly happy with my Bluetooth earpiece for my cell phone, and never really dreamed that these would be as good as they are, simply because the earpods always fell out of my ears. But I kind of got them just to test them out, and I have never looked back. And I've turned I don't know how many people onto these things, and they've had the very same experience. They don't like the earpods, but the AirPods work wonderfully for them. The battery life is terrific. They come in their own little charging case, which right now is Lightning only. But that's fine because you're probably carrying a Lightning cable to charge your phone, so you can just charge the AirPods with them. They're super comfortable. In fact, they're so comfortable that at times I forget that I have them in. I walk around the house and somebody will start, I'll pass someone and they'll wave at me like they assume I'm listening to music. Well, I'm not. I finished a phone call and they're just still in my ears and you just forget. The touch control to make calls and invoke Siri is phenomenal. They sound good. I'm not going to lie to you. If you're looking for the absolute top quality audio experience, this is not going to be it. But this is more than good enough for casual listening. It's definitely good enough for phone calls. They're the best earpieces I've ever had for phone calls. And for podcasts, they're absolutely ideal because the voice reproduction is terrific. They're not terrible. They're not cheap, but they're not terribly expensive either for what you get and for the amount of use that you will get out of them. So I can't encourage you enough that if you're even mildly interested in these, go and order them. Make sure that you order them from somewhere you can return them if you're one of those very, 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 very rare people that they don't work for. But I think the odds are pretty good that they will for you.
You mutant eared freak.
Yes. Yes. Well,
one thing I've heard is that
Bones, right? It's Bones referring to Spock, Peter. So, right?
They might be a thing that a lot of places would want to put a discount on for Black Friday.
Yes.
So you may want to hold off a tiny bit and see if you can get a Black Friday deal on those because they seem like the right kind of thing. And I don't know, Chuck, if you said how much they are. I covet a pair right now. I need you to know how desperately I want one of these. And my birthday's in a week, and I'm holding out hope. I was hoping for new ones at the Apple event, to be honest. I was hoping they were going to release 2.0 with the new iPads, but we haven't seen them yet. So
I would have settled for the AirPower, Matt.
We all would have, sweetheart. We talked about that. I'm like, yeah, what we saw was great, but look at all the stuff we didn't get. But
yeah.
Apple loves to break people's hearts and hold them in suspense.
Yeah, Kelly, honestly, I think they're $149 at this point. Okay, Peter says yes.
Yeah.
You can find them cheaper. I've seen them on Amazon for as low as $118 on sale. But you got to keep your eye out, like Kelly was saying. But Black Friday, Cyber Monday, that's the weekend to look for the sweet deals. Just pull the trigger as soon as you see it. And as Chuck said, make sure that that there's a returnable process. Don't get them just from any fly-by-night manufacturer. Or a reseller. Get them from a legit source.
Yeah, and I also want to point out too that I should have said this as I went through the rundown that they'll switch between your Apple devices easily. I was on the phone shortly before the show, and I walked in, told my iMac that I wanted to listen through the AirPods and through the Bluetooth connection, and boom, they're right there. And they perform so well. It's one of those things that's like you don't realize how easily and how good something like this can be until you get these and find out. I see all kind of ads and different things going on right now saying, well, these are almost as good as AirPods, or these are AirPod knockoffs or whatever. Yeah. Please don't go there. Please don't go there. Get the real deal.
Yes, when you are really sick, you want to go to the bargain heart surgeon or the bargain brain surgeon, bargain dentist.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Exactly.
Oh, that was the mistake I made. Dang.
Yeah, Mark, I've already been influenced because everyone I know who has AirPods basically has the review that Chuck has. Like, I just thought they would be fun, or, somebody got them for me as a gift and I thought they'd be kind of neat, but it turns out they are super duper amazing and I love them so much. And so that's because I'm like, I have wireless headphones, I have wired headphones, I have, a variety, but those are the ones I'm really gunning for. And that's exactly why, because everyone I know who has them has all given them the same review that Chuck has. Like, I thought they'd be neat, but it turns out they're just super duper awesome.
Yeah. Plus, now there's the whole peer pressure thing, man. Everybody's getting AirPods. So now people look at you with your like janky old like $25 Chinese Bluetooth earpods. Like, you are not of the body.
Yeah. No, I use the Apple. And I have a set of Bose noise canceling headphones for mainly when you go traveling. The wireless, are interested, but as you said, Kelly, now that their ability to produce is caught up with demand, I'm thinking, okay, let's hold out for generation 2. So it's just a matter of time, ultimately.
Yeah. Now I just have conflict. Like, if I'm only getting one pair, like, do I want them now or do I want to hold out? And how much longer do I have to hold out?
Don't hold out.
One inside-y baseball thing to note with the AirPods and also with some of the other, the Beats, the recent Beats headphones, including the Power Beats, is that they all use Apple's W1 chip, and that's really turned Bluetooth connectivity on its head. Mm-hmm. It used to be if you're accustomed to Bluetooth devices being kind of difficult to pair, and we got to put it in discoverable mode, and you really don't have to deal with any of that with this stuff, and the battery lasts forever comparatively. Plus, you just stick them in the case and they recharge. It's cool technology. It's very well designed. Apple really hit it out of the park with the earpods, I have to say.
No question. Not of the body. Return of the Archons, Peter.
Yeah, of course, man. I'm dropping Star Trek hints like it's.
Today's edition of Mac Voices is supported by Smile, the makers of world-class software at smilesoftware.com. And there's no more world-class software than TextExpander. With TextExpander, a few characters become words, another few characters become sentences, and a few other characters turn into paragraphs. When you create a TextExpander snippet, you select the text that you will remember and then have it expand into whatever you want. It might be something as simple as a word that you frequently mistype, or as complex as a full paragraph of details on your latest project. TextExpander is available anywhere on your Mac. No matter what application you're using, you get the power of TextExpander to help make you productive. And because it's TextExpander, your snippets aren't tied to a particular application. So whether it's email, your blogging platform, your word processor, or whatever, TextExpander is there, ready to go. One of the biggest challenges with any productivity software is remembering to use it. TextExpander itself helps with that by finding frequently typed words and phrases and suggests that you create snippets for them. A TextExpander snippet can be just about anything: text, code, HTML, formatted, unformatted, you name it, and odds are that TextExpander can handle it and make it available to you anywhere you want. If you go right now to smilesoftware.com, you can try TextExpander for free. See how powerful it is. See how easy to use it is. Then get TextExpander straight from Smile at smilesoftware.com and watch your productivity grow. TextExpander is just one of the world-class software tools from Smile. Find out about all of them at smilesoftware.com. Thanks to Smile for being the longest-running sponsor of Mac Voices. Okay, guys, I think we have time for the fourth round. It look like we're doing good. So, Kelly?
Oh, great.
Okay. All right. I'm going to do a bonus pick to my bonus pick, and it's this right here. This is the Apple Watch stand that looks like a classic Mac, and it is the cutest thing you have ever seen, and it's like $10, and I love it so much, and I'm going to show you right now because I had a Series 0 Apple Watch, and I loved my Apple Watch until my Apple Watch had to emotionally prepare to do everything. And so I just got the Series 4, and I'm really excited about the Series 4, and I love it very much.
This is such a weak excuse for Kelly to show off her Series 4. It's ridiculous.
But it's no, that's upside down. There we go. So yeah, it's locked. I'm not plugged in right now, so you won't see it go into nightstand mode. But when you put when you put your watch in, it's the cutest thing, and it doesn't matter if you have the sports strap like mine, where it doesn't disconnect. There are some like nightstand chargers where you can't, if you don't have one that unbuckles completely, you can't use it. And this one works either way, and it's so the cutest thing. They also make one in an iMac flavor, which is also adorable. But yeah, they're like $10. I think I got mine for like $8 or $9. But on Amazon, they come in at a very inexpensive price, and I love it so much. And every night when I put my watch in the charger, it makes me happy. So there you go. That's my little bonus pick. My pick is going to be these, which Mark just mentioned, which are the Bose QC25 wired headphones. Wired because I always want them to be wired. And primarily that's because with the wireless ones, some of them, if they're not charged enough or you go on a really long flight or you forgot to charge them before you left and you only have limited battery, they are bricks until you can get them charged up again, and you can't do anything with them. And these, it doesn't matter the state of the battery in it, because if the battery's on, like there's a little switch on this side. I'm just going to take them off. I won't be able to hear myself, but here you go. So there's a little switch here for noise canceling that you turn on or off. And then they're super comfortable. You can see it's padded. It's very flexible, and they pivot. They have the labels in the ear cups so that you can put them on the right way. This is the 25, so they have a microphone here if you did want to take a phone call or something, but otherwise it's just standard controls. It is an ordinary headphone jack. You can plug it into the lightning adapter if you want to plug it into your phone, if that's what you're listening to. The other nice thing about them is they fold flat into this little case, which is not a super thick case by any stretch of the imagination. But the thing that I thought was really cool about it is it's got this little adapter right here. And this is the airplane adapter. So if you still fly on an airplane where they have that weird little thing where you have to plug one of these in, you've got one and it goes right here. And that's super awesome too. They travel really well. And I know this because I have actually mooched these from Mr. Kelly because I bought them for him as a gift for last Christmas. And I just borrowed them in the short term. And they're super comfortable. They're completely over ear, and the ear cups are very squishy. So like I wear earrings, and so sometimes those will press right along the bottom of my ear and like stab my earrings into my head, and that's really uncomfortable. And these don't do that. The headband is really is adjustable and super comfortable. And we just took a trip. We flew to Florida and back, and there were crying children on that flight. And Mr. Kelly knows nothing of the crying children because he was wearing these the entire time. So you can turn on and off the noise canceling, but even without like the physical noise canceling that you get by having the over-ear headphones is super great. And they will work with or without the noise canceling. They're very nice headphones. And with or without the noise canceling, you can still plug them in and use them. You know, they don't need any sort of power. So they're super great. I think they're about $180. They're it's dramatically more. I don't remember how much more, but I remember shopping for them last Christmas, and it was dramatically more to get the wireless ones. And I think the wireless version of these, the over ears, was one of the ones that you can't do anything with if the battery's not charged. Like not even just not noise canceling. Like they just won't do any. I think that's right. I don't want to say that and be wrong, but I think they were one of the ones. And so, excuse me, I chose the wired anyway. And the cable's generous, and they fold nicely into the box. You don't have to do anything special to sort of fold them up, and they go everywhere, and they're super comfy. Mr. Kelly really likes them, and I just happened to grab them off his desk because, as you can see, I'm not in the orange room this time. I went mobile with my setup, so I'm in a different part of my house, and I just happened to grab these to use, and they're working really, really well.
Great, good pick. Yeah, Bose headphones are hard to beat across the board, no question.
Yeah, I have used these at my desk, and so has he. And you can scare the crap out of somebody by like you have to like walk up behind them and then like ease into peripheral vision and wave your hands so they can see you. Because he's come up behind me and tapped me on the shoulder, and I've had them on and gone, freaked out because I had no clue he was behind me at all.
Yeah, because I wouldn't be disturbed at all by somebody walking in my peripheral vision going, oobly, oobly, oobly.
Well, you wouldn't if it was me, because
yeah,
that's just how I roll. But
that's right.
Yeah, good point.
So he peeled you off the ceiling.
Peter, last round. What are you wrapping
Last
up?
round. Okay, so those of you who know me know that I am an old school Mac gamer. I made my bones in this business reporting on Mac games back in the day. I started my first Mac gaming website back in 1994. So I have played a heck of a lot of games on my Macintoshes over the years, and I've also really taken it seriously. So I was really delighted earlier this year when a fellow named Richard Moss released a book called The Secret History of Mac Gaming. You can get this book on Amazon. You can also buy it, I believe, directly from his website. It's called The Secret History of Mac Gaming. If you have an old school Mac game enthusiast on your Christmas list, get them this book. It's a hardcover book. It's got a very cool bitmap image of an old classic Macintosh, kind of like the Apple Watch stand that Kelly just showed off, on the cover with sort of a labyrinth maze game on it as well. And he interviewed so many people who were so essential to Mac game, the development, the publishing, and the publicity of Mac games back in the day. It's really, really a cool look at what I would consider a very underreported and really cool part of the Apple business, the Mac business that's been around from the very, very beginning. And, disclaimer here, he interviewed me for the book. I'm in there as well, along with all of my friends and colleagues who were doing the same thing that I was back in the day. It's just a very, very cool book. Can't say enough about it. So, again, if there's a Mac, like an old school Mac game enthusiast, somebody who still breaks out their power or their Performance 6400 to play Power Pete every once in a while, this is for them.
Oh, Power Pete.
Yes.
Oh, it's taking me back.
Pangea Software, RIP.
Oh.
Anyway.
Oh, man.
So Peter, will you sign copies of these if people send them to you?
Yes, I will. But I'm not going to tell you what I'm going to sign them with.
But will you send them back?
Yeah.
Hey, if you pay a return freight, sure, why not? I will sign my one page of documented quotes.
I love these panels because first of all, you never know what's coming, but the picks are always so diverse. I love that, and that's a great pick, Peter. We've talked about going ahead. Now we're dipping a little bit into history. So
Kelly got two. She managed to shoehorn two picks in there. So I feel like I have to keep up. Can I throw one other thing out there?
Of course.
Okay, so a lot of us have a hard time trying to figure out a way to get our iPhones to sit in our cars, right? The best solution that I've found so far is from Schoche, SCHOCHE, whatever. Don't you correct me? Yes, SCHO, right? CHE, right? Magic Mount is what I use. It's a magnetic mount. They sell them in a wide variety of different forms, depending on where exactly you want to put it in your car. They have one that goes in the CD slot. They have one that goes on the vent. They have one that goes on the dash. They have one that goes on the window. It's really dependent on how you want it in your vehicle and what's legal in your state, quite frankly. But the way that these things work is they've got these little magnetic mounts on them. So a lot of the iPhone mounts that you see in cars use clamps. And those clamps get cumbersome and they tend to break down after a while. These actually just use a magnetic plate that you actually put on your iPhone using a little adhesive barrier between the plate and your phone so it doesn't leave any mark or anything like that. It'll also work with most cases. And that way you get in your car and you just plop it right on there and it's held on magnetically. Now, the cool thing, of course, if you're using an iPhone 8 or an iPhone 10 is, as Kelly said at the start, and as Chuck pulled out to keep up with Kelly, The 8s and the 10s wirelessly charge. They charge using a wireless charging standard called Qi or QI. And Scosche also sells and makes magic mounts that are Qi compatible. So not only is it magnetic, but it's charging your phone at the same time. How darn cool is that? Magic mounts are very inexpensive. You can get them for no more than $10 or $12 if you want to get one of the basic ones. If you want to get one of the Qi compatible chargers, you're going to be spending more like $60 or $70. But there's a wide range in between, and it really is designed to fit your budget and your lifestyle and so on. Really great stuff. Very happy with them. Strongly recommended.
Nicely done.
Scosche makes great gear. I have a lot of their stuff. I have retractable cables, and I think I have a stand and a couple of other things from them that I've picked up over the years, and I've never had a complaint with anything from them. It's always been really solid.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're one of those companies that if you see their name on it, you at the very least you need to take a good hard look at it. So yeah. Okay, Mark. How are you? Is this going to be a big finish, or have you already peaked and now you're just coasting toward the end?
Oh no, I have 2 more picks. First one is the Rota podcaster mic and mount stand. I'm not at my normal office, so I'm using these headsets, but I'd recommend it for anybody if they're an aspiring podcast or if they're a frequent guest on podcast shows, because you'll get a much better audio. But also, if you frequently need to do for business Zoom conferences like this, or things using Skype, if you've been bad and Santa gives you coal and you get tortured and have to use that service, it's really great to be able to have your hands free. Have really great quality audio, because everybody appreciates the people who have the best audio. And prices have come down dramatically over the past couple of years. I think now on Amazon you can get the mic, the kit, and then the basket, the shock isolation basket for about $357. Don't know if that's a special price that's just in effect today, but you take a look. It's gear that I will recommend it. It's a big tube mic. I think Peter's is sort of the same form factor, but comes on a basket, so it will hang down, and it's USB, so it provides a hell of a lot of versatility to connect to any Mac or even any PC that you have. So that is pick number 1. Pick number 2 is a thing called a Glowforge, and this started out as a Kickstarter project. And basically, what it is it's sort of like a flatbed plotter with a laser. So it has an input mechanism that you give it a sketch of something, so it will create basically a 2D etching of whatever it is that you're creating. A friend of mine sponsored this on Kickstarter a couple of years ago, and forgot all about it, and he received it. All of a sudden, this past spring, he got a package, and they've been using it for creating jewelry that they're giving away at events that he's on the instructor circuit, and it is basically a high energy laser. It's about 50 watts of power. It's on a 19-inch bed, and then you just feed material in. It can be metal. It can be paper, it can be leather. You can use it. You can cut pieces out, so you can create things that you assemble. You can use it if you want to engrave somebody's name or an image or a picture on something. The input mechanism is basically you can give it either a picture or a sketch or a diagram, and then there are tools that you can use to just size it on how big it is you want it to be. And this is he's had a glorious time working with it. I know it has some appeal. A friend of mine is wondering what to get for her husband, who he's a woodworker. He has a separate building. He has all sorts of tools and things, and she was wondering what should I get him for Christmas. So I presented this as an idea. So she's going to get one. They offer a family of devices. Price range for, I think, the Glowforge Pro is I believe it's $64.99. But it's in that price range. It may be $6,000, maybe $7,000. You go and check it on their website, and then have families that are down below. So I think the entry price is around $25.99. So this is for yourself if you're artistic, or if you know somebody who does a lot of artistic work. In the case of my friend, he's been doing a lot more decorative wooden gifts, and his wife says he's searching around for a way that he can transfer things like family heirlooms or association logos, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So it looks like this is the ideal and perfect device. So glowforge.com is their website.
I've seen a couple MacBooks that have been laser etched under a Glowforge, and they look super cool.
Okay.
Whoa. Back up. You
basically, it has a feeder. It has a feeder like a flatbed. So it's either fixed size for fixed size piece of material like a MacBook. Right. You could engrave property of Chuck Joyner. Please kick. And
so that's what he puts on his Windows laptop.
Or property of Chuck Joyner. Please kick, and free to a bad home. Or some of the other users have material feeders so that you can put in a long piece of wood or metal, glass, what have you, and it will feed through so that you can have a very long design. So,
but do you expect me to talk? No, Mr. Bond, I expect you to die.
But this laser is powerful enough to engrave a MacBook.
Yes.
Wow.
It can even cut in metal if it takes different passes on it. I mean, technically, if you use it, depending on the model, I think they'll send you a set of goggles, or maybe the goggles are an accessory to protect your eye against high energy reflection. So
wow.
This is a power tool. This is not a kid's toy. So.
I mean, at $2,500 for the base model, it's not like this is an impulse buy either. I mean, you've got to be serious about crafting stuff on a 3D printer at home. But for what you're getting, it's really impressive price.
It's super cool that you can take that home and put it in your house and do that.
Yeah, that's
the whole point of it. It started out as a Kickstarter, and I think they raised some enormous amount of $30 or $32 million. So it's been incredibly popular, and the community sprung up around it. So I'd say if you have you or somebody has a lot of money and not quite sure to get as a unique gift, then certainly this is in that category.
Yeah.
Wow, very nice. I was not aware of this. I mean, we've all seen things that were engraved, but I had no idea you could do it. And frankly, as Peter said, it's not an impulse buy, but that inexpensively you can get into it and do some really interesting things. So, wow, good picks, Mark. Really good picks. So for my last one, I'm going to pick something that's very practical, and it's a gift that keeps on giving, and it's sort of in.
We have a book about those things.
No, not that. No, not that, Mark.
And now Chuck's bonus pick,
and it's treatable with penicillin.
Yes,
Chuck's bonus pick, penicillin.
Completely off the tracks.
What did you expect? You invited the three of us. This is on you, Chuck.
Good point. No, I'm going to suggest that you do two things for someone you care about. First of all, you go and buy them their own domain. Okay. Now, what are you going to do with your own domain? I don't want a website. I don't need a website. Right. You probably don't. But you do need an email address. And so along with the domain, find a provider that will give you an email address with that domain. Will cost you a little more money, but now you've got something that won't go away, can't go away, is uniquely yours or theirs, and you can move it around. So if you decide that you don't like the mail service from provider A, you can move your domain and your mail service to provider B and not lose your identity. And the number of people that are still running around with Yahoo addresses, as much as I like Gmail addresses, or God help us, AOL addresses, is just insane. It doesn't cost that much. You can, and especially if you're not insistent on a .com, you can buy a .net. You can buy a dozen different domains.
There's lots of top level now, and there's like .me and .info and
right
.site.
And yeah, and so you can get the individual's name at .something that will mean something to them, and it's theirs. Yes, you will have to renew it each year, which means it's kind of like one of those gifts that you can give them every year. But I've done this for several people, and they don't quite take it for granted anymore until something happens and they hear a horror story, or someone in a store, asks for their email address and they give it, and it's like, oh, you have your own. And so it's a little, yes, maybe it's a badge of tech geekiness, but it also is very practical, because now you can't have your identity taken by anybody else, and you can't have a company buy it out and change it, because boy, it's a pain to change email addresses. So I will throw in a plug for Hover, the Canadian domain registrar and email service. They do an amazing job. They've hosted some of my email, and they are my domain registrar of choice for all my domains, including some that aren't even in use yet. So go check them out. The prices are very reasonable. The service is incredible. If you call, you get a human being who can help you. If you go on live chat, you get a human being. It's not a bot. You get someone that can help you and will resolve your problems. So I can't recommend them enough. So that's going to be one of those things that, depending on the big mailbox, the little mailbox, what domain you want, it's going to cost a little more, a little less, but it's just a great, great present. And maybe every time your loved one uses their email, they'll think of you, or maybe not.
And hopefully not curse you.
Yes.
Pro tip, when you go up to somebody and tell them that your email address is Hotmail, they are judging you.
Yes.
Know this. Yeah.
Hotmail, AOL. Yeah, Gmail's not too bad. Yahoo. Yeah, unfortunately, Yahoo.
Well, because they got super breached. Like the Yahoo thing was like, it was kind of bad. It's really bad. It's basically everybody. Like if I remember their data breach a year or so ago.
Right.
It was
that's
like
that's when they revealed that they got breached in.
Yeah, it was like a little bigger and then a little bigger and then a little bigger. And then finally they were just like, yeah, it was everybody.
Yeah.
Like, sorry.
Serious follow-up note on that. There was a couple of weeks ago news that AOL, or now it's they're not
whatever
AOL.
they are.
It's I guess Verizon, who owns the rest of the Yahoo assets. They've reached some sort of settlement, and they will pay, I believe, anywhere from $750 to up to $500, depending on if you had an email account and how much time you had to spend remediating your problems that you had with them. So anybody out there as a listener, public service announcement, just pay attention to this, because I know I spent time and from both cleaning up some of my stuff, and as well as just as a joke in the past, every pet I've got has got I got a Yahoo email. And I'm surprised they get email. Yahoo is basically spammers. They get all sorts of spam and junk, because I know none of my dogs have ever sent an email. My cat.
The cats are another story.
Yeah. But anyway, serious note, just watch that. You might be able to have some monetary compensation, for problems that those Yahoos caused.
Well, and you know what, Mark, you bring up a good point, because if you have email problems, I mean, email, I know there's some factions out there that say email is going away. Not where I live, and not in any business world that I exist in. And if you have an email problem, it is a real problem. And unfortunately, and we're picking on some of these companies, but I'll go ahead and pick on them because it's deserved. But if you try to call somebody at Google, try to call somebody at Yahoo, try to call somebody at Hotmail, try to call somebody at AOL and say, I'm having trouble with my email. Forget it. You're whistling in the wind. Forget it. So, but if you are buying your email service from somebody reputable and reliable, and you have a problem, there's somebody on the other end of the line to help you resolve that issue. So
to close this loop, is Hover? I'm familiar with them as a DNS name service provider. Do they also provide email and other domain services, or just
yes? Nope, they are a registrar, but they definitely provide. You can buy your email. It's not like, oh yeah, register through us and we give you an email for free. You have to buy an email package through them, but it's very affordable and it's absolutely well worth it. Cool. So there you go.
What's your bonus pick, Chuck?
That was my bonus pick.
Well, we all picked two.
Yeah, I did. I did the domain by at the very least by the domain, but
okay.
But the mail was the bonus. So yeah, see, I got.
All right.
You didn't get by me, Golly. Guys, thank you. That was really an amazing round of picks, from inexpensive and free to very expensive, and every one of them I think is a good pick. So nicely done. Nicely done. Let's run around real quick, let folks know where they can find you when you're not here picking gifts and picking on me. Kelly?
You can find me occasionally at the Incomparable Network, doing various podcasts over there. The rest of the time, I'm writing articles and explaining stuff to you, as well as doing the Daily Observation podcast at macobserver.com. The rest of the time, you can find me doing stuff or talking about the stuff that I do with App Camp for Girls. And if you find me on Facebook, I'm doing a fundraiser right now for my birthday for App Camp for Girls, if you want to kick into that. And you can find them at appcamp4girls.org. It's a registered nonprofit. And I spend a lot of time there helping teach junior high and high school girls iOS programming. It's a lot of fun. You should check it out. And you can find me on Twitter as Verso, but you should find me on micro.blog as Verso instead.
Okay.
Nicely done. Happy holidays, Kelly. Thanks so much for being here.
Yeah. And to you, Chuck, happy holidays.
Peter?
You can find me at Peter-Cohen, COHEN.com, because Chuck's advice on that last segment was pretty good about getting your own domain name. You can also find me on Facebook and, whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Great. Happy holidays. Good to see you, Peter.
Thank you very much, Chuck. This was a pleasure. I had a great time.
It's always fun. Mark, in spite of all the picking back and forth, it was great to have you here. Where can they find you?
We had a lot of fun. Professionally, you can find me on LinkedIn. For most other stuff, on Twitter at MARKFUCCIO. And I think I need to check out Microblog.
Yes, you do.
Okay.
We'll chat.
I'm there.
I bet you there's no Mark Fuccio registered
There's
user.
not.
Okay. I'll have to handle that.
So you can find Mark soon on micro.blog. Folks, just a couple things here about the gift guides. You will be able to find links to everything 3 different ways. First of all, they'll be in the show notes for this episode, and each episode will have its own show notes, of course, for the picks for that panel. Second, I will have an entry on the Mac Voices blog at macvoices.blog that I'll continually update, so you'll have one master list. And if you're into something a little more graphically oriented, there will be a Flipboard magazine of the Mac Voices Holiday Gift Guide this year. So look for that. Just look on Flipboard for Mac Voices Holiday Gift Guide. You'll probably run into the 2017 version. There will be a 2018 version there as well by the time this goes out. Until the next time, and as always, thanks for watching. Visit MacVoices.com for show notes and to connect with Chuck on social media. Get involved in our Mac Voices Facebook group and get more out of your Apple tech with Mac Voices magazine, free on Flipboard. And if you find value in it all, consider supporting us at patreon.com/MacVoices and join these folks who help keep Mac Voices coming to you. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at backbeatmedia.com. Bandwidth provided by CacheFly at cachefly.com.